We have an update now on a story we have been following. 18-month-old Sonny Perino is back home after spending a week in the hospital for a scorpion sting.
Well, so good news. He is one of nearly 100 people that have gotten stung by bark scorpions so far this year. This is according to the Rocky Mountain Poison Center. Fox's Alexis Fernandez is here to explain how dangerous they are and what to do if you get stung. This is certainly something that parents have to know.
Especially here in the desert as well, Jacqueline and John. There are 25 different scorpion species found in Nevada, but the bark scorpion is the most venomous in North America and can be dangerous to humans and pets.
18-month-old Sonny Perino is slowly getting back to normal.
He's doing really good. I think he just needed to be home. He did all the hard recovering in the hospital. It took him a while to kind of start talking to us, but he's getting there.
He spent a week in the ICU after being stung by a bark scorpion found inside his home in the Northwest Valley.
I just don't ever want it to happen again. When I say we are traumatized, we are scared to death.
Perino's doctor said his case was rare. He suffered severe symptoms, including trouble breathing, and had to be given antiscorpin anti-venom treatment. Bark scorpions are the most venomous scorpions in North America and are native to Arizona.
Mostly come over through, human means, so bringing in landscaping materials, palm trees, when you bring in rocks for retaining walls, they might be coming from those quarries.
They come out during the summer months after hibernating.
They are a species that kind of thrive in kind of these suburban areas where, like I said, we do have stable sources of water, through landscaping, through irrigation, through tons of building materials that they love to hide away in.
So what should you do if you are stung by a scorpion? Dr. Shireen Banerjee with Rocky Mountain Poison Center says most stings can be managed at home with over-the-counter medicine and guidance from a poison center. If you have severe symptoms like trouble breathing, see a doctor immediately.
Special populations, people that have an underlying heart past medical history, children under 5 or more prone to some of the more serious effects. If you're not in those populations, still, if your pain was not relieved with standard remedies at home, then you could seek attention in an emergency department.
So far this year, nearly 100 stings have been reported around the state, which is standard according to the Poison Center. For the Perinos, it's a wake-up call.
Check your kids' stuff. Look on the floor. Even if you swept in the morning and you didn't think anything was there, check again at night because you don't want to go through this.
And as for what to do if you see several scorpions inside your home or outside, the best thing to do is to call a pest control company. We'll be right back.